All right, let's talk about simple engraving in Mastercam. Now, what I mean by simple engraving is essentially using the tool or the spindle of the machine as a pencil. So it's not like doing any sort of router work or any fancy type of lettering. Very simple. Okay, so I have just a stock setup here. It could be whatever. So don't worry about that. Just get some sort of box stock on the machine. Even your work coordinate system is not critical for this example. Nothing else is set. Okay, what we're going to do is create letters, which is in wireframe, and you'll see create letters. Now I have example in here. Now there's a lot of different fonts. The problem with some of these is these don't lend themselves necessarily to simple engraving. Some of these are better off, like this. This would be better off in the actual sort of embossing, or there's a different type of engraving cycle Mastercam will do. Not really what we're talking about here. We'll cover that at another time. But for this one, let's just keep it at stick. So I just put example. Now the lower left is the 0, 0. If you wanted to position this accurately, you could, create some geometry and snap to it. I'm just going to randomly put it in the middle. There's also options for alignment. We're not going to get into that right now. You can mess with that. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. If you need to work with this, let me know. Basically, you can align it to a chain or an arc, and you could have the lettering spin around and things like that. But I'm not worried about that for now. I just want to get through the cutting cycles of this and how to do that. So here's our simple engraving, our simple geometry, and we'll just hit green check. There it is. So now we can go into toolpath and go to contour. Not engraving. There is an engraving option in there, but we're going to go to contour. Instead of the select contour chain, we're going to do a window and grab all of the lettering and then select a base point of one of the corners of one of the letters. So I'm just going to pick the E. So there's all our chaining real quick and hit green check. So now, using contour, and I already have this tool in here, but pick a engraving tool. So in select library tool, in the filter, just have engraving on and hit green check, and you'll see a bunch in here, the diameter of it, the angle of it, whatnot. I just picked the 1/8 inch by 45 degrees. So hit green check. Ignore your speeds and feeds for now. That depends on material. All right. Cut parameters. Now, compensation type, turn it to off. No compensation. Then, in lead in, lead out, turn that off. In linking parameters, select an incremental depth of minus 20 thou. Okay. Then hit green check, and you will see the engraving. Okay. What we can do now is go to verify and watch it. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, nothing happened. So, a couple things to do when that happens. Typically, parameters, negative 0.02. Green check. Verify again. There we go. So now we go to top view, and we see our engraving. Real simple. Use some sort of chamfer mill or engraving tool to achieve that. Okay, and that is the simple engraving that I want you to do. All right, so I'll give you instructions in the module for this one. Okay, so I'm going to pause right here, and then we're going to talk to something called raster to vector. Okay, so now I just wanted to delete this stuff for now. Okay, delete it all, it's fine. And what I want to do is show you something called raster to vector, which essentially takes like a JPEG file or an image file and tries to create lines and arcs from it. It's very important that the file you pick is as clean and crisp as possible. Black and white, green and black, something that contrasts very well. And it won't take a lot of work to mess with. So some files online are very difficult. Grays and shaded areas are rough. Take a lot of work. So I have a file for you. It's just a Hudson Valley logo, which you'll probably have to put on something in the future. So go to raster to vector. It's in wireframe right in the middle. Okay, and I'm just going to merge new geometry. That's fine. Now, I have HVCC logo on my desktop. That will be on Blackboard for you to pick. So just select that and hit open. Now it looks like this. This is what we need to get correct. So it came in as green and black. If we take the linear black and white conversion, putting it all the way to the left, you'll see a nice crisp black and white. Right? That's what we're looking for. All right? So if we hit OK, All right, and we want to create an outline. What we want to do is optimize for, if it doesn't automatically default, fine lines and arcs, and we wanted the accuracy to be fine. Okay, you can also play with the resolution a little bit, but we'll hit green check, and we'll see what it looks like, and that looks pretty good to me. Essentially, a lot of this box we can get rid of, and this arc we could probably close. Everything else looks pretty good. So you can smooth more if you want, and you could add a little bit. All right. And essentially you can zoom in and see the difference, and it just smooths it up a little bit more. We'll say that's fine, and we'll hit create geometry. Now, if this was more complex, that smoothing and everything comes into play a lot more. So right now I'm just going to get rid of all the boxes around here. Okay. And then see these arcs here. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close them. So I'm going to go to close arc, and select here and here, and hit end selection, and it closed it all the way around. Clear colors. So now we have our Hudson Valley Community College logo. All right. And it's in here from an image file offline. All I did was Google that image. I just put it on Blackboard to make sure if you don't pick the right file, I recommend you try this. You need to be real selective with the file you're working with. Otherwise, this raster to vector can be very, very time consuming to get the geometry to come out right. But this is all there now. So what we can do now is we can go to geometry. We can add. We can window everything here. And the approximate start point could be, somewhere there. That's fine. There's our geometry. Okay. Hit green check. Now, we probably have to clean some of this up. We'll just hit green check and see what it comes up with. There it is. Now, one thing we need to do is I need to create a better stock. So I'm just going to go to rectangle. I'm going to go to anchor to center. And I'm going to just eye this up just to get this video over with for you guys so you're not watching me mess with this. But this would have to be realistic. We'll hit there. And then we'll get back into our stock setup. And I'm going to end up doing select corners here to here. And give it a z-depth of 1.0, something like that. Okay. We'll go isometric, and you can see our simple stock. I'm going to ignore the 0, 0 for right now. It's fine. What I want to do is just get into verify and see what it looks like. There it is. We just engraved Hudson Valley Community College from an image file. So that's raster to vector and simple engraving using contour. Okay. At a later time, we will cover, if we minimize this, if you go up to toolpaths, and you will see engraving. And we will work with this one at a later time. But that is simple engraving. That'll get you by for most serial numbers and making simple signs and things like that. So if you have any questions, let me know. All right, and then just check on the instructions in the assignment for what your assignment is. Thanks.